A young woman is having a nightmarish vision and hearing whispers. She is lying on the ground, bloodied and bruised. She then wakes up inside a silent space station, confused and alone. She can't remember who she is or how she ended up there. An urgent warning from the ship's AI pulls her out of her daze. There's a critical system error. She drags herself up. She then picks up a flashlight and opens a door. The AI warned there is a security breach. As she moves through the dim corridors, she notices streaks of blood smeared along the walls and floors. The situation becomes grim when she comes across the body of another crew member. She squats next to the body. From the corpse, she retrieves a knife. She then keeps walking with the flashlight in hand, and she stumbles upon another dead crew member. It is at this time she realizes grimly that she's likely the only one left alive. She then goes to the control room to open the hatch. Outside, through the open hatch, she sees a desolate landscape covered in falling ash, and high above, a glowing portal stretches open like a wound in the sky. She is disoriented and is trying to find people. Suddenly, her throat got clogged. She starts to cough. Her breathing grows shallow as she tries to retreat into the station. She crawls her way back to the ship and closes the door. The AI announces that vital oxygen levels are compromised. The life support is beginning to fail and oxygen is running low. Struggling to stay conscious, fragments of the past flash before her. She remembers someone attacking her. She then sees smiling faces, moments of joy. A memory surfaces of the crew gathered in a lounge, laughing and playing a game. Kevin stands and makes a grand speech about the mission's success.
How about we will prosper here? Huh?
The rest of them made fun of him. Davis joked and raised a toast in Brian's name, even offering extra beans as a prize. The mood had been hopeful, especially when the team decided Rhea should be the first to set foot on the planet.
Chances are she's going to be the first one out. I am.
The crew is thrilled to have finally found one with air that could almost be breathed. Kevin asks her about her opinion, but Rhea is skeptical about them stepping out so soon. Kevin reminds her they are the only ones that managed to get close to this success, so they will definitely be successful. After this, the crew team makes Rhea get up to give a speech.
How about... let's not f*** it up this time.
Back in the present, Rhea stumbles into the medical bay and patches a wound on her neck. After treating her wound, she then heads for the shower, hoping the water might clear her thoughts. She keeps asking who she is as the water streams down her. Her body is covered in bruises. After her shower, she gets dressed and goes out to investigate further. As she steps into new rooms, she sees the faces of the crew members, but they are just fragments of memory that don't help much. Eventually, she uncovers the ship's log, where data on the atmosphere and pressure levels throughout the station are stored. While reviewing video logs, Rhea discovers evidence that she had once been involved in plant research aboard the station, but none of it feels familiar. Her past is a complete blank. Without warning, the security system detects motion in one of the entry zones. Gripping her knife, she moves cautiously toward the source. She then sees a figure emerging through the airlock. Without hesitation, she lunges at him. She attacks him with the knife, breaking his helmet, asks who he is.
Who are you?
The suited figure halts and speaks her name, urging her to stop. The man takes off his helmet. He then introduces himself as Brian, explaining that he descended from the main orbital vessel after receiving a distress signal.
They sent me a distress call.
According to him, someone named Clark lost her mind, turned violent, and massacred the rest of the crew. She then takes him to the bodies of the crew members. Rhea confesses that her memory is shattered. Only scattered images remain, mostly of being attacked by a woman. Brian recognized her as Clark. She admits she doesn't know who she is or why any of this is happening. Brian walks out of the room and brings a device. He calls in a medical drone, and as he is setting it up, he notices that she doesn't know what he is doing.
Do you not remember Earth? At all?
He tells her that their expedition is known as 7F, the seventh and final mission after 6 failed ones. Earth, he says, is nearly out of resources, and this mission might be humanity's last shot at survival. As the drone begins scanning Rhea's injuries, he fills her the details of what they are doing. He reassures her as the machine begins to probe the wound on her forehead and tries to soothe her when the pain becomes visible. He explains that his original role was to remain on the orbital ship as a backup observer, monitoring for signs of trouble, something he believes he did just in time. Rhea recalls seeing a glowing shape in the sky, and Brian confirms it's their mothership circling the planet.
The one. Every couple days we line up.
Brian asks if she has a fever, and Rhea tells him she does. She then tells him she used a medical patch earlier. She then asks what the diagnosis says, and he tells her that there is a swelling in the brain, and it is likely caused by the trauma. The fever and the memory loss are the side effects of the swelling. Rhea then asks the question that was dawning on her.
Remember everything eventually, right?
Brian tells her that she still has her technical memories and knows everything, but that isn't what she meant. Would she be able to remember herself? Brian doesn't have an answer.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Brian reflects on their journey, remembering how the crew once talked about their reasons for joining the space program, each one chasing hope as Earth's future grew darker. Rhea had once believed that joining the mission wasn't about self-sacrifice, but about chasing answers that Earth desperately needed. She had grown disillusioned with the world she left behind, and was driven by a determination to help find a better future for humanity. Even now, with her memories scattered, Brian remarks that she hasn't lost that core part of who she is.
But somehow you're still exactly the same.
He urges her to rest and leaves. Rhea, worried and restless, couldn't sleep. She gets up and makes sure the door is closed. But as she sleeps, she hears the door opening and get up to see a bloodied man standing by the door. But it turns out it was one of her fractured memories. Rhea puts on her suit and leaves the safety of the station. Brian led her from the ship. She remembers a drone she had once prepared to use before everything went wrong and decides to try and find it. The barren ash-covered landscape stretches around her as she considers whether Clark might have succumbed to an alien infection that caused her to lose her mind.
Something out there. Lost her mind. Killed everyone.
Rhea then drags a heavy black bag, the remains of her fallen crew, from the station. Brian tries to convince her to let go of Clark, insisting that they must prioritize survival. The station is barely functioning, operating on backup power, and oxygen is dangerously low. Time is short, and they need to return to orbit, a process that requires careful timing to sync with the passing mothership.
Hey, you okay?
Rhea is visibly drained. As she rests, her eyes land on the body of Kevin. A grotesque, bloodied creature flashes in her mind. She snaps back to reality and hurries away, chalking it up to fatigue. Inside, Brian attempts to help her, but she snaps at him.
It's your patch, just out of juice. If you want, I can go.
I just need you to give me space.
She goes to another room, but everything around her, tools, fragments, even shadows, feels like a reminder of the recent horrors. Desperate to calm the chaos inside her, she uses another patch. She then sits on the ground, trying to figure out what is going on with her. Shortly after, a violent sandstorm soon hits the station, battering its already fragile structure. Rhea apologizes to Brian for her earlier outburst. Watching it rage outside, Rhea realizes pieces of her past are starting to return. She shares this with Brian just as the ship's AI suddenly alerts them to a decompression event somewhere in the structure. Alarms begin to sound, oxygen levels are dropping rapidly.
The station's built to handle much worse.
Both of them suit up and rush out into the corridors, trying to track down the breach. In one of the emergency sections, they find clear signs that something, or someone, has recently passed through. A strange sound echoes nearby. Rhea follows it and finally comes upon the source, a break in the station's structure. Just as Rhea finishes sealing the breach in the station's structure, a terrifying image of Clark's twisted, snarling face appears before her. Though the vision shakes her to the core, she pushes through the fear and manages to complete the repair. She then makes her way back to the crew quarters, visibly rattled. Brian suggests that Clark may have suffered a mental collapse triggered by an alien pathogen, something similar to rabies. But Rhea isn't convinced. The explanation doesn't sit right with her.
It's just something is not adding up.
She's convinced there's more to the story, and she wants answers. She insists on searching for Clark, but Brian reminds her that nearly a third of their oxygen is already gone, and they have at least 5 hours to wait before the next chance to align with the orbital shuttle. If they miss it, they may not survive.
5 hours.
We have no answers. We have more questions. We can't.
Still, Rhea refuses to let it go. Brian confesses he doesn't know what truly happened to Clark, but promises they'll find out if they live long enough. With no choice for now, Rhea returns to her cabin. She goes through his stuff and reflects on her bond with Kevin, someone who had clearly meant a lot to her. Closing her eyes, she drifts into a vivid dream. She finds herself beneath a blue sky, surrounded by wildflowers in full bloom. A drone hovers above her, capturing the surreal moment. She's dressed in flowing clothes adorned with strange, beautiful ornaments, standing in a lush tropical meadow. Nearby stands Kevin. Before him lies a strange pipe-like structure, and as Rhea looks into it, she sees a spiraling tunnel that seems to pull at her very being. Suddenly, Kevin cries out in agony. In an instant, she sees him again, this time aboard the ship, and the vision collapses as she wakes up in tears. Shaken, she turns to the station's data archives. There, she uncovers old footage from the early stages of the mission. The logs show the crew initially assessing the planet's conditions as manageable. While none of them missed Earth much, they agreed the adjustment to this alien landscape would be tough. Their hopes lifted when they discovered the cause of the atmospheric irregularities Brian had observed from orbit. A vast underground tunnel system filled with glowing, unfamiliar structures. The recordings show the astronauts beginning to study the site, soon realizing that the strange objects were artificial terraforming devices responsible for shaping the planet's air and weather. During an attempt to explore one of the shafts, a disaster unfolds. A violent explosion erupts. Blinding flashes and swirling clouds of unknown matter burst from the depths and rise into the sky. Watching helplessly, Rhea sees the moment her teammates begin to die. Brian enters quietly and spots the tablet in Rhea's hands, its screen still glowing with the archived footage. After a pause, he admits something he's kept hidden. Official records show the entire mission was classified as missing.
I knew that you went on a mission, but you went dark.
Rhea demands the truth. After all she's been through, the trauma, the hallucinations, the guilt, he had known all along that the planet was in the process of being terraformed for colonization.
When the entire time you knew this planet was being terraformed.
He claims he was assigned to observe her specifically, to monitor her responses. Even with her mind fractured, he insists she's still the same person deep down. He urges her to focus on survival, promising they can deal with the rest later.
For once, until we are up there, until we are safe.
But Rhea finally tells him what she's been afraid to say. She believes she killed the entire crew, though she still doesn't understand how or why. She can't bring herself to leave, not while everything is still a blur.
I need to know. Brian, I need to know. I can't.
She explains how the patches she's been using help unlock pieces of her memory, but Brian counters that he's not sure she's mentally stable enough to be trusted right now. He reminds her what's at stake, their discovery of a world-altering technology that could save a dying Earth. In just over 2 hours, they have to launch. Delaying would mean the end of everything.
Our priority has to be about the preservation of our...
Faced with no other choice, Rhea agrees to prepare for departure. As she collects her gear, Brian appears again to replace her patch with a fresh one. He promises he'll be back before launch and then disappears into the station. Left alone, the new patch takes hold, and Rhea is hit by a powerful surge of memory. In her vision, she's in a lab, confronted by a crazed astronaut, Audi. He's attacking her, his expression twisted with rage. In a panic, she grabs a pair of scissors and stabs him repeatedly until he drops. Her strength gives out and she collapses, bleeding and terrified. Faces of her crew flash before her eyes, each one deformed by infection. The virus hadn't just taken one, it had spread among them. Desperate to share what she's remembered, Rhea tries to contact Brian, but there's no answer. She searches the station, calling for him, until she finds his lifeless body lying cold on the floor. Staggered, she stumbles away, only to come face to face with Clark, fully suited and advancing toward her. In a panic, Rhea grabs a blowtorch and turns it on Clark, engulfing her in flames. But Clark, unfazed, activates the emergency suppression system and puts out the fire. Then she charges forward. A violent struggle breaks out. Clark forces Rhea into the station's shower unit and tries to lock her in. But Rhea, fueled by fear and desperation, grabs a hose, jams it into Clark's helmet, and floods it with water. Clark's body goes still. Rhea hauls the corpse to the medical bay and starts a scan, but the results are unsettling. No wounds, only severe lung damage consistent with drowning.
No, there has to be something else. There has to be something else.
Before she can process this, the ship's AI chimes in. The window to launch into orbit has just opened. Outside, the planet's dusty winds howl as Rhea disposes of another body bag into the barren wilderness. Above, a lone star glints, their orbital ship still waiting in silence. She heads back inside and attempts to start the launch sequence, but the systems don't respond. Desperate, she applies 2 memory patches at once, hoping to recover something that might help. The rush of memories leads her to Brian. She scans his body using the medical bot, and what it reports sends a chill down her spine. Brian has been dead for over 2 days. That shouldn't be possible. Just then, the station's security alerts her to abnormal activity. An unidentified life form is moving inside. Armed and on edge, Rhea searches again, only to find Brian alive, or at least something wearing his face. She realizes what's standing before her isn't human anymore, but something infected.
Infection.
Strangely, the creature claiming to be Brian doesn't attack. Instead, it tells her it can show her the truth. As the patch continues to flood her brain with images, memories surge forward, pulling her back to the beginning.
I'm back with you.
She sees her team returning to the station after discovering a strange substance sealed inside one of the compartments. The crew, uneasy, debates its origin. They suspect it's a form of alien intelligence, one that has been silently observing them, waiting to strike.
Ever since we landed.
Exactly, waiting for the right moment to shut us down.
Adi, fearing the worst, proposes abandoning the mission altogether. But Rhea protests. This is what space explorers had hoped for across generations. Real proof of extraterrestrial life, and more importantly, a tool that could help humans reshape entire planets.
To create a new world where we don't get poisoned by the air we're breathing.
Determined, Rhea dons a protective suit and enters the contaminated zone to retrieve a sample. Analysis reveals it's made up of microscopic self-replicating entities, a technology, not a creature. But before they can study it further, the sample escapes containment. In a horrifying turn, the substance launches itself at Audi. Rhea watches, frozen, slender tendrils pierce into his face and slither through his nasal cavity. Audi changes instantly, his features warp, and violence overtakes him. He turns on Rhea. Her cries bring the others. Clark pulls her to safety while Kevin rushes to help Audi, only to be attacked himself. In the struggle, Kevin kills Audi, but the victory is short-lived. The parasite simply moves, slipping from one host to the next. Now it's inside Kevin. Kevin turns on Rhea, his movements no longer human. Clark, still protected in her suit, throws herself between them, trying to shield Rhea. Kevin lashes out, violently beating Clark until she drops. Brian arrives but freezes in disbelief, unable to act. The pause is enough. Rhea quickly straps a helmet onto Clark and pushes her toward the escape pod, launching her away from the chaos. Kevin turns back to Rhea, and for a brief moment, something of the man he once was surfaces. He speaks, but his words are alien, fractured. Rhea, trembling, whispers an apology for what she's about to do. As she watches his body begin to change, bones stretching, skin twisting, she drives a knife into his chest. The parasite bursts free from Kevin and shoots into Rhea, entering through the scar on her forehead. Instantly, she feels it, a consciousness not her own. The ship's AI confirms the infection. A parasitic entity is now active inside her. With a surge of will, she rips off the neural patches and stumbles to the medical bay. There, the parasite is scanned and located deep within her brain. Knowing the risk, she agrees to an emergency removal. As the robot begins the procedure, her heart stops. For a moment, she flatlines, but the machine revives her and the alien organism is successfully extracted. Just as she catches her breath, Brian reappears, but he's no longer even remotely human. Tentacles sprout from his skull and he lunges. Rhea stabs him again and again, but the creature shrugs off the wounds. In desperation, she grabs the blowtorch one final time and unleashes the flames. Brian burns. The fire spreads fast. With the station now a collapsing inferno, Rhea dons her suit and escapes. Flames roar behind her as she reaches the pod, climbs in, and launches toward the main ship still orbiting above. Inside the pod, silence returns. Rhea stares through the glass at the planet shrinking behind her, haunted by everything she's lost. Kevin, Clark, Audi, and Brian. Their mission, once a beacon of hope, dissolved into madness. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.